Greetings. This is Doc Ock coming at you live and direct from Black Facts Headquarters Central here in Kent, Ohio. Proverb for today is, it is better to travel alone than with a bad companion. It is better to travel alone than with a bad companion. And that's a proverb from Senegal. Next up, poem for today, Brother Song, composition from my mirror, Brother Song. Let's see what poet Eugene Redmond has to say about a brother song. Oh yeah, this is the one I was thinking exactly. This one is for his father, John Henry Redmond Jr. John Henry Redmond Jr. That's right. None other than, so you know he had to be a strong man with a strong name like that. Ain't no doubt. Matter of fact, dear mirror, dearer mirror, shatterless glass, shining and shouting back, my me, my me. Autobiography caught in nostalgic corners of mind light, in the needle light of the sun, in the laser grace of the sun, kinetic kin node, life lunging lyric, ring dancer and hat maker, main gear, knuckled, buckled, fastened, seat belted onto a bold shouldered man blade. Dear mirror, coming, humming clearer to me, whose brown body is a song, half humming, half whistling, one mint julep, one early morning while I was walking, man song on a morning of shudders and chill bumps, blues balm percolating a morning of pot bellies, coal man, coal man, coal. Dear mirror, bebopping bird digger, grinding against Miles music as waiter, as Mac man, as rent maker, as bike baron and brown battler, as Moorish sailor returning to Spain in Afro-American frame, as maker of song boy and song girl. Dear mirror, shining back, might and moan, shining back, man and moon, back song and saga, ballroom and back blues and booze, shining back, shining back, shining black. Gibraltric, shoulder in a sand sea page, light anchor in a nightmare's mouth, plower, planter of seeds in the stomach of tomorrow. In the stomach of tomorrow. In case y'all didn't catch that the first time. And our feature of the day necessarily has to be what I call it today. Oh, I had the name up here. Oh, I got it over here. Shirley and Edward, a love supreme, a love supreme, a love supreme, a love supreme, a love supreme. Shirley and I had discussed her resigning from the YW once our son Michael was born. His birth was my notice that I should indeed finish writing my master's degree thesis and simultaneously search for a teaching position. I did just that and was having some success considering the responses to my inquiries. I had submitted my resume to HBCUs, in other words, historically black colleges and universities, around the southern half of the country. After having applied to a long list of black colleges, I finally received a positive response from none other than Lincoln University in Jeff City, Missouri. Before I could really digest Lincoln's offer, unsolicited good news arrived from a more immediate possible long-term employment source. On a Friday evening in May 1958, I received a call from Professor Schroeder, informing me of a possible teaching position at Hiram College in Hiram, Ohio, approximately 25 miles from Kent, Ohio. Population 300. Bring your own phone book and write the names down in it for yourself. I was supposed to meet with Dean James Neil Prim at 8 a.m. sharp the following Monday. Dr. Schroeder also informed me that his predecessor, the former chair of Kent's Modern Languages Department, Dr. Meinke, had been hospitalized by a heart attack. Poor Dr. Meinke. Poor Dr. Meinke. And Hiram needed a substitute immediately. He told me he had explained to Dean Prim the only qualified person available was an advanced graduate student who was currently writing his MA thesis, who also happened to be Black, or as they used to say back in the day, a Negro. Dean Prim responded, "Ain't no time to quibble. Send him over." Shit. Need a teacher better than the hog needs slop. Get him up in here. Just let it drop right there in front of me. Thank you very much. Founded in 1850, Hiram College was established in the mid-19th century as a reparatory, not sure how to say that word, institution of high grade called the Western Reserve Eclectic Institute. Oh, I'm quite sure it was very eclectic. The institute was founded by the Disciples of Christ and located in Hiram, Ohio, because the founders believed this area of the Western Reserve to be healthful and free of distractions. It has been non-sectarian and co-educational throughout its existence. Hiram College has sustained this egalitarian tradition of educating men and women from diverse backgrounds. The Institute's original charter was authorized by the state legislature on March 1st, 1850, and modified in 1867 to recognize the institution's new collegiate rank when it became Hiram College. These words have a meaning. They don't call them colleges, schools, institutes, or universities for nothing. That's the end of that quote. James Abram Garfield, serving as the 20th President of the United States. However, his presidency lasted only 200 days, from March 4 to July 2nd, 1881, when he was assassinated by Charles J. Guiteau, or Guido. Yeah, that is Guido. It's French, of course. President Garfield, as pointed out in Supplement 1 below, upheld strong liberal arts education and promoted civil rights for African Americans. This attitude of his no doubt helped to some degree to influence the college's current dean to so readily allow me to join his teaching faculty, even though there was an emergency that needed immediate attention. It was anticipated my hire would last for a matter of 5 weeks or less, or more or less. Hiram College was and remains located in the smallest town or village I'd ever been in. In fact, it was so small I had trouble finding it. As I approached the village, I saw the Hiram Water Tower, but was unable to distinguish the entrance to the village and drove right by for about a mile. Caught myself, turned around, and noticed where I should have turned. I met with Dean Prim at the appointed time and underwent a short interview, during which I was informed I would be substituting for Dr. Meinke, the former chair of the Modern Languages Department at Kent State University. I knew Dr. Meinke very well, for he had been my advisor throughout my undergraduate years and had been the first of my instructors at Kent State to suggest my pursuing a graduate degree. He even suggested recommending me to Duke University in North Carolina, his alma mater. I'm certain he knew Duke would not admit me. Strict segregation still defined the solid South, end quote, of which North Carolina was a very staunch member. But Dr. Meinke considered himself a groundbreaker and told me so. When his recommendation was turned down, he said the dean at Duke told him, quote, "It would be over my dead body when a nigga in..." Sorry, I meant a Negro. My bad. He probably only thought that. I didn't respond to this piece of information, for I knew from the start Dr. Meinke was pushing reality, for this was still 1957, and the racial climate in North Carolina was still blistering hot when it came to black people. Dr. Meinke, I learned, had suffered a heart attack and was expected to return after he had recuperated. I deduced from my conversation with Dean Prim why he couldn't afford to quibble over hiring me even for a short period. As it turned out, I was the first black instructor to be hired at Hiram. Since its founding in 1850, Hiram College had introduced several years ago during President Paul H. Fall's tenure in the 1950s an intensive study plan, quote unquote, whereby students took only one course in each of 5 7-week terms. One course. I am not now certain about the exact number of weeks a student. Okay. I am not now sure. Where did I go? Certain about the exact number of weeks a student would attend each course and his or her course load. However, this innovative plan allowed proven to be very successful and received high reviews in educational journals and in the prestigious Saturday Evening Post, quote, "the happiest college in the land," end quote. That was from September 18, 1954, for those of you who like to look it up. The plan had helped to solidify Hiram's reputation for innovative education. It was now May. The 7-week term was in 4 or 5 weeks. The German class I was to teach amounted to a full quarter's or semester's work, and 2 or 3 weeks had already passed. Incidentally, each class period lasts a full 3 hours, 5 days per week. I was immediately to work. During this period, I was going through a number of changes. Teaching at Hiram College was just one. My wife and I had been married for almost 2 years, and she was due to give birth in February. At the time, we were living in Youngstown, where she was employed as a Y-teen advisor with the YWCA after graduating with a BS in sociology from Ohio U in 1955. I was commuting to Kent to finish work on an MA and looking for a teaching position at an HBCU in the South. At the time the temporary position at Hiram occurred, my wife and I had decided she would stop working as soon as my hoped-for son arrived. I had received, shortly after Hiram had hired me, an offer from Lincoln University in Jeff City, Missouri. I didn't like the position offered. In the letter I received, President Dawson offered me the position of instructor and a reasonable salary of $4,500 per year. Dr. Dawson also told me he wanted me to teach German and Spanish and also French and Russian, of which I had only a meager knowledge. But I was absolutely turned off when he informed me I was coming to the South and I would undoubtedly observe situations or incidents to which I would negatively react. He went further, repeating, I would be in the South where things were different. If I accepted the position, I would have to remember I was at a black university, which was undergoing at the time some serious difficulties about which he didn't bother to enlighten me. He didn't have to explain what he meant. I'd already read a magazine report indicating that some black colleges, especially Bowie State in Maryland and Lincoln University in Missouri, happened to have been located in sections of their communities that were formerly underdeveloped, but were currently being populated with white middle-class females, the wives of the homeowners. These residents were interested in furthering their education and were pressuring state authorities to adjust the charters of these colleges so that white persons could enroll. Moreover, the Department of Health, Education, and Welfare was gearing up to pressure all HBCUs to integrate their student bodies to continue receiving federal funds. I cannot cite the enrollment these two institutions had then. However, current catalog statements should be instructive based on current academic directions and student enrollment. So basically, he summed that up by saying Bowie State currently, at the time he was doing it right in 2014, had about 5,400 students, along with faculty and staff from many ethnic backgrounds. And Lincoln had, don't see a number here. 3,156 students in the year 2007. After cryptically alerting me to Lincoln's being pressured to diversify its enrollment pattern, or better put, start offering graduate curricular programs that would attract females from the surrounding community, he requested that I observe and keep my mouth shut, end quote. So, as you may have gathered, that's a direct quote. Observe and keep my mouth shut, quote, end quote. I repeated Dr. Dawson's assertion to my wife. We discussed it, and my inability to keep quiet when I saw a cultural, religious, or social wrong being perpetrated against institutions or people. My wife and I, to promote and protect, I began to debate with myself whether I should accept the president's offer. Yes, it was asking me to accept, without questioning, the probable destruction of an HBCU, and also to accept the potential teaching load, which on the one hand would be trying, and on the other, I was not professionally prepared for. Moreover, I couldn't just say to myself and Shirley that I must decline the offer. I told Shirley I would wait to see what this providential teaching assignment at Hiram would bring, and then we would together make a decision. And we'll end right there. Okay? So as you can see, Shirley and Edward and Shirley been working together since way back when. Since I was literally knee-high to a grasshopper. All right, literally. And that about ends our reading for the day. I hope you enjoyed that. The story is starting to get a little bit more interesting, and it'll get even more interesting as we go along. Particularly this part here that interested me was about the HBCUs and how they were being looked at as a resource for students that were not Black. Very interested in how that all worked together with the integration, desegregation, all that stuff was working together, but not to necessarily help Black folks, but at the same time, it appeared to be helping Black people, would also destroy Black institutions. That's editorial commentary for today. Enough of that. Let's move on. Time to go and end this show. You know, I've got to go ahead and clock out, but in the meanwhile, make me smile. I appreciate it. Got a check in the mail yesterday for some donations. I'll be taking that to the bank, right to our account for Black Facts and dropping it in. But we still need more. Today is 11/20/2020. We've been running this program for a while. Our 2020 fundraising campaign. The goal is to bring in $20,000 so we can just get started. That's just seed money. That ain't no real money. We figure if there's 500 people out there, everybody donates 10. We're a good portion of the way there. So it doesn't take much if a bunch of people donate a little bit, and that's what we're asking people to do. This is for a good cause, in case you haven't figured that out, because there's nowhere else you're going to get the kind of history that's going to be coming to you here. You see some images of people on the wall behind you: Gwendolyn Brooks, Babatunde Olatunji, and the Black students, some of the most vocal Black students that ever walked across the campus here at Kent State alum, as a matter of fact, okay, who started Black United Students and brought Dr. Crosby and my whole family here back in 1969. You're not going to get this history anywhere else. You can't buy it. You can't pay for it. You can't find it. The only place you're going to get it is right here. And we're working to bring you the whole from all perspectives. We're on track to do over 30 interviews just this month with some of the people who were instrumental: Ann Graves, Eugene Redmond. There's a whole host of Black United Students presidents, from Janice Taylor Hurd to Mark Batson, trying to get in touch with Jimmy Hicks and Kevin McIntyre. We're looking for them. If you know that they're out there and I've mentioned their names, just call them and find out, have I got in touch with them yet? And if they tell you I haven't, give them my number, 330-673-9271. Have them call, okay? Because we're putting the call out to all good people who benefited from the reign of Crosby from 1969 to 1993. We're putting out a call. This is an all call, so consider it that, and we'll be looking forward to your responses and those of the people that you back and let them know that they need to put in their voice, get their voice heard. Okay, we're doing this using Zoom for the most part, but if we have to, we'll use other means. But we're trying to Zoom as much as we can. All right, and in the meantime, I'm zooming right on up out of here. That's right, zooming on out without a doubt. I'll be Black tonight at 9 p.m. EST. I'll see you then, and hopefully when we finish, you'll have nothing but a grin from your ear to your chin, because we're here to help y'all win. Peace out now.